Hello, and welcome for joining us on. This is the 15th episode now of NeuroWomen Natter. I am usually co-partnered with Charlie. Charlie particularly doesn't like talking during Christmas stuff. So Charlie said, "No, Toni, go ahead because you love everything Christmassy." And I invited the lovely Kerry on to come and have a conversation with us. Kerry, you've turned again, so
I was just going to say, Kerry's turned sideways.
We've had a few technical issues, haven't we, getting this set up?
Yeah,
so.
It was fine until I hit go live, and then you went all sideways again. Like it's too early in the day for a nap, I think. But there you are. Okay, I'll let you get on with it.
This way around.
Absolutely. So welcome. If you're live watching this, hello, welcome. If you're listening to us on Spotify, hello and welcome. You can always catch up and listen to this, but we are live on air. Just for description reasons, so I'm Toni Horn. I have short bobbed hair with glasses, slight small nose piercing, and a brown jumper. Kerry?
So I've got short brownish hair. I'm wearing a red jumper that says Slay Queen on it. Sticking with the theme.
Love that. I did have my Christmas hat on, but it started itching, so I completely took it off and thought I'm not going to concentrate why it's itching my head. So I was Christmassy and then decided comfort over accessories. Okay, so today we are talking about all things Christmas, and the reason for that is because there is a lot of questions out there around neurodivergent and Christmas times in the workplace, at home, families trying to accommodate, workplaces trying to accommodate. And I think sometimes just having a discussion, an open discussion about what it can be like as a neurodivergent person, but also as a neurodivergent mum and somebody who is a mum of a neurodivergent child. There's all these different things that we have to consider and think about. So I really wanted to kind of deep dive into that today. So Kerry, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself before we kind of go into the hearty gritty part of all the questions about all things Christmas?
Yeah, sure. So I'm autistic and ADHD, and both of my kids are neurodivergent, and I'm a neurodiversity and inclusion specialist. So I kind of work with businesses mainly and organisations to be more neuro-inclusive, but I also do like keynote talks and webinars and things like that as well. So very much in the neurodiversity space.
Yeah, brilliant. And that's obviously where we've all met as well. And
yeah.
Okay. I suppose I'll position it this way. If you had one sensory, like Christmas sensory setting button just for you, no one else, just for you, what would you switch on and what would you mute instantly?
So I think I love, I'm quite visual. I love all the twinkly lights and everything. So I definitely keep the lights on. And I'm a big fan of a Christmas jumper. So I'd make sure we kept all the Christmas jumpers. But I think for me, it would be the loud, excessive noises. Like I love a bit of Christmas music. I like going into a shop and kind of having a little bit of a bop along. But when it's really loud and in your face, and I'd turn that off. And also really busy crowds, when you're sort of trying to get your last bits of Christmas shopping done and it's just really overwhelming. So yeah, I think it'd be those things for me, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know the fact I need to get out, and because I like to shop local because I like supporting local shops, but also sometimes I choose to shop online because I don't want to put myself in that situation where I'm in those crowds, and it's when people are pushing and you're somebody standing at the thing that you want to get to, and I'm like, oh, do I tell them to move? Do I ask them I need to get there? And I always feel really awkward. Situations, but also it's the smells.
You see, I would keep the smells. I forgot to say that actually. I'm really smell is like one of my really strong senses, but I really love strong smells. So I love the roast dinners cooking, the churros and stuff when you're out and about at markets and things like that. So no, I'd keep the smells.
Which one I'm on board with, right? I do love the smell But it's like I was walking in town the other day, and there was like this little market store in the middle, and it had all these candles and all these kind of like lavenders and cinnamon, and I was just overwhelmed by the smell of it all. I mean, I could smell it halfway down the hall. I was like, what is that? It's like, I know there's not a Lush in here. What is it? And that's all I could smell. So sometimes as well, you know, we think, you know, when we think about the workplace and when we're going into people's homes, people tend to buy more Christmas scented candles and that kind of stuff. And it can be oversensitizing as well, I think.
And I think it depends on like your individual sensory needs, doesn't it? Because like I can't bear vanilla, the smell of vanilla, but my daughter can't bear lavender, and it's just literally, I think, you know, as neurodivergent people, we can have really strong reactions to certain senses and certain smells. Some smell amazing, but others, it's just like I just can't do it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Okay, so moving on. What one festive tradition you secretly wish you could scrap, and one that you'd keep or redesign because it generally brings you joy?
I think in terms of like things that we'd scrap, I think we've kind of we have like changed quite a lot, I think, over the years. I think even before we knew that we were neurodivergent as a family, like the waiting for Christmas Day is really hard for our youngest. So I think giving some presents on Christmas Eve, like we have done that over the years, like just chosen like one small present to open because he just can't wait until Christmas Day. So I think having almost like a graduated like run up, I think works really well. But that, in terms of everything else, we have kind of played around with stuff a little bit, and like we really love the stockings, and so we always have a stocking out on all of our bedroom doors, and then we all pile onto our beds in the morning, and we all open our stockings together. So that's one that we really love. I think food is one that we kind of don't stick with. So like particularly last year, we decided, it was the first year in like 15 years that just the four of us were together on Christmas Day rather than extra family and whatever. And we just threw the traditional Christmas dinner out the window, and we just asked our kids what they wanted. So our daughter had like homemade sushi and bao buns and like a really kind of like oriental sort of like lunch. Our son had a few bits of like roast dinner bits, the bits that he wanted, but he had hot dogs. And we had like just the bits that we wanted of the Christmas dinner rather than kind of, you know, going all sort of full out. So yeah, I guess we've been doing it with food actually as well for a little bit.
No, I love that, because there is this stigma of, well, why are you not having, you know, why are you not having turkey on Christmas Day? And again, I must admit, I love a roast dinner anyway, so I do go all out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But my son absolutely hates it. And he can't stand it. And I remember last year we had family over. So instead of roast potatoes, he had chips, turkey, and well, he didn't have turkey. He had pigs in blankets because he really likes pigs in blankets, and had peas. And that was his roast dinner. But, you know, the family reaction was, well, why is he not having a traditional roast dinner? Because he's not going to eat it. What's the point serving him if he's not going to eat it? He's got chips, that's his potato. He's got pigs in blankets, there's his meat, and he's got pigs. He's fine.
Yeah. I think, do you know what? I think our youngest had chips last year as well. I think he had a couple of roast potatoes, but chips. I think that's what's so important to remember, that everyone's so different, and there's no, like, I think we just need to just like get rid of those expectations, because it just puts so much pressure on us all. Like you say, this is what we do, we have turkey on Christmas Day. Well, actually, do we have to have turkey on Christmas Day? Because I think we've lost Toni.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, I've got her back. I don't know what's going on today.
Yeah, I think, and just having those that freedom to go, do you know what, it really doesn't matter. You know, we don't want to put more stress on people on a really, what can be potentially quite a stressful day for people anyway. So let's just make everyone at home. Thankfully, our wider family are quite on board with the changes and stuff that we need to make, and they're just like, oh, he's having chips, that's fine. But it's taken a few years.
Yeah, and in the workplace as well, you know. So when I was managing a team, I was, you know, the Secret Santa. There is so much pressure of who's going to have the funniest gift, who is going to do this. And actually, I made it an opt-in or an opt-out.
Yeah.
You could opt in to do it and you could opt out to do it, because actually, you know, even for me, I was the leader, so I would participate, but I absolutely hated it because one, I didn't want to offend somebody, and I didn't want to get them something that would offend them. I would completely overthink what it was I was going to get them for Secret Santa.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes there is these unspoken pressures in the workplace around about Christmas time. You know, are you coming for the Christmas outing as a team? You know, my husband talks very openly about his sobriety, and he's a builder. So there's this expectation. Oh, you can tell it's been a long day. Right, there's dyslexia verb, the verbal diarrhea is kicked in. There's this expectation that because he's a builder, when they're going to have their Christmas gathering, it's down the pub, and then we're going to do this and we do that. And Dave declines, and he says, I don't want to sit in the pub with you all sitting there getting drunk. And then they're like, oh, you're so boring. And again, it's those conversations of why do we need people to get involved in these things that we don't particularly like doing?
Yeah, I think as well, it's giving the option and doing different things, isn't it? Like the best Christmas do's I've seen of where people kind of like do lots of different things. They kind of like, you know, on the day, maybe go out for a lunch, and then people can just go to the lunch if they want to, or not at all. And then those that want to stay out and go and have all the drinks and everything afterwards can do that. And so you're not really excluding everybody. But I think it's kind of having the conversations, isn't it, to find out, you know, particularly people that kind of go, oh, I don't want to go. Well, why don't you want to go? What can we do to make it more accessible for you? Because sometimes it's just the noise. Like if you're going out, I mean, we're quite close to Nottingham, and yeah, there's a full-on Christmas market there. It's really busy, really noisy. So if you're going out, even like, you know, midweek on an evening, it's so busy. And it could just be that's a barrier. So it's like, well, actually, let's go for something closer to the workplace, and then anyone that wants to go out in the city can do that afterwards. But it's, you've got to have the conversations, haven't you, to find out what people want.
Or even vice versa. So I had a young lady who had misophonia. So it was her worst nightmare to come for dinner. But she'd meet for drinks afterwards. So she'd skip the meal and then come for drinks because she didn't want to be sitting around listening to people eat. And I completely understand it. Yeah. Another thing we invented, we did the option of doing something that was crafty, or, you know, kind of, so we booked a cooking course. So we spent 2 hours learning to cook a particular dish. And then we did it as a team. And then again, for those who wanted to stay out and drink afterwards, happily could. But it was something different that wasn't the normal, typical thing to do. But we asked people for their ideas. So we put out, okay, these are the options, all the different things that we found. Let's have a vote. What activity you want to do? Yeah. And I think that just works really well.
And I think, and then if people still don't want to take part, actually finding out if there is something that they would want to do. It might just be that they want to go out with a few people, like their close sort of team or whatever, and do something really small with them, and not just put that expectation on people to join in, and that, you know, this perception that you're antisocial or you're rude if you don't want to do it. You know, hopefully we are moving past that now, but I think a lot of workplaces are still like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone's put in a comment, I would do that. I will find a stressful, but I enjoy a drink with colleagues. Is that you, Charlie?
That's me chiming in, yeah. So it does depend, but leaving at like lunchtime or late lunch to go and have a sit down with me or with colleagues, I find that really stressful, especially as when I was permanently employed, December, early January was always my busiest time of year. Pay review, annual leave reset, all those annual HR projects. But I would have felt like I was missing out if I didn't do that, because they all went for drinks after as well. But I'm often trying to either cut out alcohol completely or majorly cut it down to only 1 or 2 drinks maximum. So even then, if there's a big drinking culture, that after meal drinks can be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So on that note, Kerry, what would you say is your personal survival strategy to get through the seasonal period? I mean, it's like we need to do something. What's your survival strategy? What would you do personally? What's your strategy?
See, I think for me, being autistic and ADHD, you know, it's a constant battle of that need for planning, but also that need for a little bit of spontaneity as well. But the thing that gets me through the whole period, particularly when the kids are off school as well, is planning. Like, we have to know what we're doing. And our oldest in particular needs structure and routine. So when the sort of school structure gets pulled, she finds it really difficult. So we have, I draw up, like, on a piece of A4 paper, all the weeks that we've got off, all the dates on there, and we kind of put in every day, you know, what we're doing, or if it's a rest day or whatever it is. So everybody knows where we are with everything. So having that structure there, but also I think it's planning for the rest times as well. Like, you know, being ADHD, I don't rest very easily at all. I would just go and go and go and go and then just crash. So it's kind of planning in the days where, you know, you're seeing some friends here, some family there, but then making sure there's a day where there's no expectation on anybody. If you want to stay in your pajamas all day, that's absolutely fine. And I think one thing we've done as well is really just talk to the kids and listen to, I mean, they're 15 and 13, so sort of teens, but listen to them about what they want. And we found actually having the whole family at ours, like, you know, 12, 15 people, 6 dogs, like, it was just too overwhelming. So again, this was before we were all sort of diagnosed, but having those chats a few years back and them saying, actually, it's too much when everyone comes here. There's too much expectation and it's too noisy, too much going on. So listening to them and find out what they wanted. And so we see kind of different pockets of family on different days, and do different things. It might be at our house, it might be going out for lunch or meeting at a park sometimes. So yeah, so that kind of answered your question, but with lots of different things in there.
Well, that is, isn't it? There is always these different little strategies for different things and for different reasons. You know, me personally, you know, I know full well that I'm not going to get any sleep Christmas Eve because of Harry. Harry just does not sleep the night before because of the anticipation, the excitement, and he just cannot get to sleep. So I know that I have to tend to have kind of like a restful couple of days leading up to that, because I'm going to be up all night, and I'm entertaining. Not a lot of people. We tend to just have like a set of the grandparents over for Christmas dinner. We don't have all the family. We have a limited amount of family. And this year actually is our first year that we're on our own.
It's surprisingly lovely, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious about it because I'm very much a stickler for tradition, and I love having a traditional Christmas, even though I'm flexible with the children. But for me personally, I like to do things traditionally. And for me, we always had family around on Christmas Day. So I'm actually quite anxious about what my Christmas is going to look like for me this year, because I don't think we've ever done Christmas on our own. And I'm really nervous about it, where Dave is completely over the moon. Like, he hates people. He just likes dogs and his family, and that's about it. So, like, he's like, yes, we're on our own this year for Christmas. Where for me, because it's not what I'm used to, my neurodivergent brain is going into overdrive of this isn't right. This doesn't feel right to me. But I know that I'm going to be there. And my 2 are still young, but they're getting older. They're 8 and 10. And I know that they're now going to go off and probably do their own thing, and they're going to be on WhatsApp chat with their friends for like 3 hours while they're playing something. And I'm all right with that, because that's what they want to do. But I'm a little bit gutted for myself, if that makes sense. I mean, am I allowed to feel gutted for myself?
It's funny because I think up until I was like diagnosed last year, actually, I always thought I was this mega sociable person that loved having a house full. And so I was saying, like, the thought of Christmas being, you know, just the 4 of us felt quite weird at first. But then I've realised, actually, as much as, you know, I love our family and friends and everything, I am a lot happier when it is just the 4 of us. And that was a big realisation, kind of, you know, a lot of digging deep for me really, kind of looking into who I really am, and realizing what makes me happy. And I thought I loved the the drama and the chaos of having everybody over, but actually it just used to stress me out. And so actually, you know, we'll ask you this time next year. I think you might have actually really loved it, just the four of you.
Yeah, Dave does say he doesn't like Christmas, Tony. Like, he says, I know that you absolutely love it, but you go over the top and you try and do everything. And he said, you are stressful to be with.
Yeah.
He
I
says
totally relate to that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm just want to make everything perfect. And, and he's like, no, you're a nightmare.
Yeah, no, and I think my husband would say exactly the same. Because particularly when you're cooking like the Christmas dinner for like 12 people, I mean, we time it to like the second. Like, we literally have like spreadsheets coming out of our ears. Like, I go into full on autistic overdrive on Christmas Day. But if things aren't then right, I then get really stressed. And where's the gravy? What have you done with that? And where's this? And you know, and your stress levels soon go up here. And because you want it to be perfect, because you're cooking for everybody. And I think you'll find it surprisingly really nice and calm when it is just the four of you. It's weird, don't get me wrong, but I think we'll ask you next year.
I'll text the WhatsApp group and let you know. Okay, if you could send a gentle message to people hosting or organising holiday events to make it more inclusive, what would you say?
I mean, we talked a little bit about it already, didn't we? So kind of involving people and finding out what they want and if there are any barriers to them going. So if you are just going to plan like a big boozy night out somewhere and you've got a handful of people not going, find out why they don't want to go and try and do something that will be good for them too. And I think like having those options, like we said as well, like maybe doing a few different things, maybe at the, back to back, so you've got the option to either go to the dinner or not, go to the drinks or not, and do something in the office to start it off with, just for some people, just to do like an hour, or if you're not in an office, do something online with everybody just to get together, do a Christmas bake off, or something, just different things that people can get involved in, I guess. And I think understanding that if people don't want to take part, that's okay. And it's not it's not that they're being rude, and it's not that they're being unsociable. It's just that there's a reason for it. And particularly a lot of autistic people find just social engagements anyway really difficult. So it can be a lot of pressure, and I think it's just understanding that just because someone doesn't want to go doesn't mean they're not a team player or not part of the group. They just don't want to go. And that's okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. But it's also as well, because with some of the individuals that I coach, they're like, I really want to go because I like my team, I really want to go, but there's this expectation, if I do start feeling overwhelmed, I don't want to be the first to leave or be the one that always leaves early. And I think that's a message for anyone who's organising this, is that have that communication of that if you do come, there's no expectation of how long you need to stay or when you can go. It's about, if you want to just drop in, because what you'll find is that anticipation, is that anxiety of going, but actually sometimes when you get there, you're having more fun than you expected, so you want to stay. So if you've already got that understanding of you can come and stay as long as you want or as little as you like, again, that might help somebody to go because they know that they don't have to stay if they are feeling that they just haven't got the energy levels to be there.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that. I think expectation plays a huge part, doesn't it? And I think quite often, as we know, it's the anticipation of doing something that's actually way worse than doing it. So if you start to remove those pressures beforehand, I could just go stay for 5 minutes and leave again, then that's okay. 9 times out of 10, you won't just stay for 5 minutes. But if that expectation is kind of I don't want to say lowered, but kind of, it's a bit more normalised, I suppose, that people can just, like, say, pop in and then go home again. People might stay a lot longer.
Yeah, I think Charlie
just said their normative have
a lot to answer for, and it does because there's always that fear of being judged, and people shouldn't have that fear. It shouldn't be that you have to do a particular thing. And again, it's about understanding people's preferences. And again, like you said, we did it one year where we did an online event because everyone was so scattered. We did an online thing where we got somebody to come in and we did like an online pub quiz. So you if you wanted to drink, you drank. If you didn't, you didn't. You know, you were in your own environment. But it's a pub quiz, but it's about, you know, for me, it was a nightmare because pub quizzes for me were a complete disaster with my dyslexia. I can't think on the spot. I know the answer, but I can't find the answer. So I'm like, damn it, I'm just going to lose. Right? I've accepted it. I'm just here to listen to everyone else. And again, it's about thinking about those things as well. Is a quiz good for everybody in my team? You know, do we do something else? And I know it's a lot to think, and you're not going to please everyone. You're not. No matter what you do, there is always going to be someone who just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
I think as well, it's just the like the whole run up around the whole, you know, the whole season. It can be so intense, and particularly for our household. So it's my birthday on the 22nd of December, and my husband's on Christmas Day as well.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's full on. And I think it's so intense, and like I think for me, what I've realised over the years, like unpicking everything, is that I find surprises really difficult. And so again, I think, you know, if you've just got Christmas Day, it's bad enough, but having your birthday 3 days before. And I think for me, it's also kind of that I don't like the thought of people wasting their money on something that I don't like either. And then you feel sort of really ungrateful that you don't feel this kind of, oh, yay, great, thanks so much. But when you're like, oh, but you spent 20 quid on that and I don't like it. And that's really hard. So like kind of what we do is we have kind of like ideas lists that we sort of float around now, that people kind of sort of choose a few things off. I think that's why I like the stockings, because like they are a surprise. So we generally, like I do my husband's and the kids, and he generally does mine. I do tend to buy a few bits for my own stocking as well, but that's a bit more low stakes. That's like just a few quid here and there, and it's not a biggie if I don't like something that's in there. But it's just, I think the autistic side of my brain just kind of like takes over, kind of like, but why have they got me that? Like, I don't know why. And then you can't sort of rationalize it, and then feel really bad inside that you're feeling really ungrateful. But yeah, so the expectation of the presents things is really hard. And it's like what you said about the Secret Santa, isn't it? I do find that. And I think looking back, there probably have been quite a few Christmases where I've gone off on my own and I found myself crying in my bedroom and not really knowing why, and understanding now that I'm autistic and, you know, probably just too much. But yeah.
So we as a family, we now put gift receipts in every present.
Yeah. I think that's why. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's telling people that you don't mind, like kind of saying, I've got you something, but I really won't be offended if you don't like it, and take it back. I'd rather you got something that you wanted. Nice. And genuinely meaning it, and people understanding that you mean it. Yeah,
I think my mum, she's not watching this, my mum buys me the same jumper dress every year, I think. I'm like, how many jumper dresses can I have? No, bless her. She does try. Brilliant. Is there anything else? We've got 2 minutes left. Is there any questions from the audience? Is there anything else you want to add, Kerry?
I think just for me, I think it's a good job you can wear wool. In a jumper dress.
Yeah, wool dispensary, no for me. I just can't do it. It looks nice, and then 10 minutes later, I want to peel off my own skin.
I'm a bit like that with fleecy things, actually. If it's fleecy, it's a bit of a no go for me. I think like people that are watching this, and I think just that kind of relax and just like do what is right for your family. Don't be looking at what everybody else is doing, and just do Christmas your way, do the whole festive season your way, find what works, find what doesn't work, and just stick with it. And just don't be worried about these, you know, expectations that get laid on us. I think that's what I'd probably say.
Absolutely. Don't compare yourself with others. It's your day. It's your family. It's
Yeah.
you do what's necessary for you and your family to enjoy it. Because that's what it ultimately, Christmas is about, joy, right? It's about having family time. It's about being joyful to do something that makes you smile.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And for us, it's always, we're not a religious family, but it's kind of, for us, it's always been about that family time, and it's just finding the ways to make it work for us. Yeah, particularly with a neurodivergent household.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us for episode 15 live of the Christmas special. Thank you everyone who has been listening live and on the podcast. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.